Our listeners are as important as our guests. Join in on the conversation. 504-341-8255. The New Orleans Talk Network.
This is Congressman Cedric Richmond, and you're watching the New Orleans Talk Network.
Hi, I'm Sheriff Joe LaPinto, and you are watching the New Orleans Talk Network.
Good evening. It's Monday. It's 12 o'clock. It's you and your credit on the New Orleans Talk Network. I'm your host, Remus Bowman, and thanks for joining me. When I think about this show and I realize the effect that it's had on as many people as it had, positive effect. You know, I was having a conversation with someone recently, and this person, before I left Toyota back in September, she was in my credit restoration program, which I was sponsoring through a different company that had been around for a long time. But I found that I really needed to take more control over what was going on with my referrals, with my customers. So what I did is I took the last 5 months. Now, again, you got to realize I've been doing this for 5 years. As a matter of fact, unofficially, I've been working with people with their credit for 10 years, if not longer, because I was a mate in the automobile business, and I spent most of my time working with people who needed help on their credit, and it was so difficult dealing with a lot of people because they would oftentimes walk in and they would assume that just because they had an income tax check or, come into some money, that they give them the right to buy a car. But they didn't realize that even though they could buy a car, the rates were going to be very high, and people were not going to be able to sustain those rates. As a matter of fact, just the other day I was watching a friend. As a matter of fact, this particular lady went through my credit restoration program 3 years ago, and she published some information on Instagram, and what she said was, and it was kind of like the same way I think, and I'm like, wow, that's right on point. What she said is that, in her opinion, a lot of people that she knew and a lot of friends that she knew were taking their income tax checks and putting these large down payments on automobiles, but in many cases, they couldn't afford the note. But what happened is they would drive the car 2 or 3 months, and then all of a sudden, the repo guy would show up in the yard and take the car. So they would be out of their money that they got from the income tax and whatever money they spent, and all the time. Now, I'm trying to help you avoid this. And the reason why I say help you avoid it is because most people are not aware that you do not have to just walk into a car dealership or walk into a leasing office without being prepared, without having, there's an old saying that says prior planning prevents poor performance. Prior planning prevents poor performance. This is something that I learned when I was in high school, back when I was going through RTC at West Jeff. They taught us this. And this is something that I'm trying to convey to the people that are listening to the show. If you prepare before you walk into a car dealership, if you do the work, Think about it. Most dealerships are not going to give you any counseling on your credit report. As a matter of fact, it's an advantage for them to know what your score is and you not know what your score is. A lot of times you'll find yourself in the finance office, and then the guy tells you, well, your interest rates are XYZ, and it's because your credit score is this low. Now, what I've introduced is a website. It's called youandyourcredit.us. That's you, and yourcredit.us. If you go on that on this website, we give you a opportunity to have a free copy of your credit report. And if you contact me either by email or even a phone call, I will provide you with the information you need to improve your credit score. But if you do nothing, then nothing's going to change. And you're going to end up, not very long ago, I spoke with a person, and they said to me, man, I feel like I got taken advantage of. I feel like I'm paying too much. I feel like everything is all messed up. Well, things are going to be messed up. You're going to feel like you're paying too much because you didn't do the work. Prior planning prevents poor performance. If you do the work, now in some cases, a lot of times people don't realize that it's a simple process to improve your credit scores. A lot of times it's just updating the file. A lot of times, if you don't know what's on your credit report, how do you know if there's information on your credit report that is outdated? We seem to think that the credit bureaus are in business to help us. They're not. They're for public businesses. They're the same business, same type of business as UPS or Delta Airlines or Continental or Southwest. They're all in business to make money. But if you don't do the work that you're supposed to do before you walk into that business, I promise you, you're going to get a rude awakening. On our website, not only can you get a copy of all 3 credit reports, now think about this. There's a company that gives you copies of your credit report, but they don't give you all 3. It's called Credit Karma. It's a great product. I have no problem with Credit Karma at all. They do a great job in giving people the opportunity to know approximately what's on your credit report. Now, the federal law gives you the right to pull up your credit report and get a free copy. I'm giving you the opportunity to exercise that right by going to the website. You can pull up all 3 copies. Now, on Credit Karma, which I said is a good product, they only provide you the credit reports for TransUnion and Equifax. Now, what about the third one? Do you realize that a lot of information is being shared on that third credit bureau that you never see? You're never going to see it because you're not electing to see it. It's like taking our heads and digging them in the sand. We don't want to know. I don't want to know. I just want to pay it. That's crazy. Are you serious? Do you really mean that? I just want to pay to get what I want. I don't care what it costs. Now, for me, insanity is performing the same task exactly the same way and expecting a different result. You're doing the same thing that you did over and over and over and getting the same result. Now, what's different or what's going to be different this time versus the last time you walked into a car dealership? Or what's different versus the last time that you went out and rented an apartment? I had a lady who called me, and she said, Mr. Remus, my landlord is selling the house and I have a certain amount of time to move out, but my credit score is kind of low. Can you help me? Of course I can. So we pulled the credit report, we took a look at it, and we gave her some things that she could do, and that would change her scores to raise it up. I've also had people that were in the middle of taking jobs. For example, if you're in the process of getting a job with certain, especially federal companies like FEMA, you have to have a minimum of 550 beacon score. This can be managed, but if you do nothing, then nothing's going to change. It's time for our first break. This is Remus Bowman on the New Orleans Talk Network. I'm your host, Remus Bowman. We have a call on the line. We'll be right with you. Please be patient.
Now New Orleans has a choice. Download the New Orleans Talk Network app for your mobile device or listen at www.neworleanstalknetwork.com.
New year, new show. Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your girl, Dr. Rhonda M. Lawson, and I'm coming back at you with the new year of Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions. And this year, we're moving to Monday night with brand new exciting guests and engaging literary conversation. And we want our listening audience to be there with us because this is going to be a year you will not forget. Catch us every Monday night, 7 p.m., right here on the New Orleans Talk Network. And you can also reach us on the Meet the World Image Solutions Facebook page, the Meet the World Image Solutions YouTube page, and we're on Podbean, iTunes, and Google Play. So catch us every Monday night, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. See you there.
Are you looking for a home to live stream your next event? Give us a call here at Bethesda Community Event Center, the only place on the Gulf Coast that can host and broadcast live your wedding reception, your baby shower, business seminar, and any other special event. Give us a call at 504-708-9454 for more details. Are you looking for a home to live stream your next event? Give us a call here at Bethesda Community Event Center, the only place on the Gulf Coast that can host and broadcast live.
We're back. We're back. Hi, this is Remus Bowman, and this is you and your credit. If you do nothing, then nothing's going to change. On Credit Karma, they feature credit reports from TransUnion and Equifax. But Experian is not on the credit report. It's not there. So sometimes you may or may not realize that there's information on Experian that's not being featured on the other reports. Also, do we still have a caller? Hello?
Hello, how you doing today, Mr. Bowman?
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing fine. I was calling to ask you about a car question and purchasing a vehicle. Okay, if a person wanted to have like a $150 a month car note, how much do you think they have to put down? Let's just say they had bad credit, and you can tell me what kind of credit score you will be in a realm of. But if they want to put $150 a month on a $15,000 loan for a car, what kind of credit score would they need to have, and how much money would they need to put down on that vehicle to have a $150 car note a month? Now hang up and listen to you.
I know a lot of people would like to pay $150 a month. But here's the problem. The problem is it's so simple. Take 150 times 12, which is going to give you, what is it, about $2,000? Hold on. Catching me a little bit off guard, but let's see, we can do it. 150 times 12 equals $1,800. Now, what you're trying to do is your times 60 payments. Okay, so what you're trying to do is you're trying to buy a car. Number one, unless you put down a large down payment on that $15,000 car, you're not going to make it. And the reason why I say that is because if you multiply 150 times 12 times 60, which is the number of payments, you would have only paid in $10,800. Now that $10,800 has to go towards the payment of the car, the licensing, and the interest rate that you're paying. So that means that you're actually, if you're trying to pay $150 a month, and you even have good credit, you're probably going to end up with a car for around $8,000, between $7,500 to $8,500, because you still have to pay tax, title, and license, and your taxes in Louisiana is like 9.75 or about 10%, and then you have to do the licensing fees as well. So you would end up with a car that would be valued at about $7,000. Now, as far as improving your credit, as I said a moment ago, you can go on youandyourcredit.us and pull a copy of your credit file to know if you have a good credit score. If you send me the information, I can give you recommendations, and those recommendations are going to be for free. Let me just say this. If you go to my website and you pull up a copy of your credit report, and then you send me that information, you'll be able to look at your credit report, and I'll be able to look at the credit report at the same time. So what that means is I can give you an actual full understanding of what's on your credit report and what we can do to alleviate some of the information at the same time that you're looking at it. These credit reports are only they're free for 7 days, number one, and people need to know that, because I don't want you to call me and say, I got that free credit report, and no, it's not going to be free forever. It's only an offer to give you information. 7 days free credit report to look at all three credit bureaus. That's not a bad deal. You're not paying anything. Now, what are the advantages of being able to look at your credit report before you walk into a car dealership? Think about it. You eliminate the possibilities for surprises. Suppose you look at your credit report and you find information that is not yours. And a lot of people do that. They find information on their credit report that, people are in business to charge up on you. But if you pull a credit report and the information is not there, the information that is there is not yours. Sometimes if you're a junior or a senior, they'll commingle. I've seen lots of times of people who have had their credit bureaus commingled between father and son, or even daughters. But if you don't do the work, think about it. Experian, when I was at Toyota, car dealers, auto finance companies would ask for all three credit reports. They would ask for the scores on all three credit reports. Now, here's the thing. They already knew it because they pulled it up. But what happens is the information goes directly to a computer, and the computer kind of decides whether you get approved or not initially. And then what happens is if your scores are within a certain range and they're not going to approve you, or they may potentially approve you, and you may be able to justify some of the situation that you have, and you can put a little more money down so you got some skin in the game. Now, the bank may be more interested in financing you, even though you have a low credit score. Is there a call on the line? Okay. All right. You may be able to get your car financed even though you don't have uh, uh, you don't have a good credit score, but the interest rates are going to be based on the information that's available. Also, there's a big problem now with a lot of people because they are taking advantage of having their credit repaired. A lot of information is coming off the credit scores. So now a lot of people are submitting applications for automobile loans, and it appears that they have no credit at all. So what happens is, if you submit an application, you don't have any credit at all, then you're in a similar boat as a person who submitted an application and had bad credit. However, that's an easier thing to fix. It's easier to fix a situation where you don't have any credit by going to unioncredit.us. We can hook you up with a couple of credit cards. We've got one credit card with Progressive, and we have another one with a company that we're co-sponsoring. I'm co-sponsoring this, and it's called the Credit Builder Card. You see that? The Credit Builder Card. That card is one of the best, most active cards that you can use to improve your credit score quickly, because here's what they do. All right, now I will tell you that in order to get this card, take advantage of this card, you have to make a deposit. The deposit could be as low as $200. And you can take, it's your money. So other than the fees that's being charged for the credit builder card, the money is accessible to you. As you make payments on the card, this card will notify the credit bureaus of your payments up to 6 times in 1 month. So that's 6 times, 6 payments that are being reported directly to the credit bureau and giving you an opportunity to improve your credit score. Think about it. If you ever, now, if you, again, we're still on unioncredit.us, and there's a certain number of factors that are being used to determine your credit score. Number one is the payment history. Payment history is 35% of your credit score. 35%. The number two would be the amount that you owe. There's an expression that's called the amount of credit that you have. And kind of excuse me, I've only been back a month, and some of the information is flowing, some of it's not. But we're gonna get all the way down to the nitty gritty. We're gonna get this thing perfect and get it back on the grind again. But 30% is the amount of credit that you owe. So think about it. Amount of credit that you owe is 30%, and your payment history is 35. So there's 65% of your credit, the credit that you have now. How did you pay it? Did you pay it on time? Do you owe more than you can actually afford to pay? And a lot of banks look at your ability to pay as well very quickly. Now, they also realize that in some cases, and we've seen this a lot, where there were people that had great credit scores, but they couldn't certify their income. They may have been receiving income from a spouse who didn't have good credit. But if you have a great credit score, 700, 750 or better, you'll find that those credit scores will alleviate a lot of the questions that the banks are going to ask. If you have a 700 Beacon score, 750 Beacon score, more often than not, the the bank is not going to be as diligent or aggressive about your explaining your ability to pay. But if you have a low credit score, now they want bank statements, they want proof of residency, they want check stubs, the whole 9 yards. Hey, it's time for our second break. This is You and Your Credit on the New Orleans Talk Network. We'll be back in just a minute, and we're going to talk to you about collection agencies when we come back. We're going to go and move on to something else.
The New Orleans Talk Network, now on your mobile device, on your computer, in your ear, and interactive. It's new, it's innovative, and it's on your mobile device. Android, iPhone, iPad, and on your computer. Take us wherever you go. Because we're interactive. 504-341-TALK. That's 504-341-8255.
Here at Jones Insurance, your full-service agency, let us take care of all your insurance needs. We provide homeowners insurance, flood, rental, commercial, auto, and life insurance. Don't let the unexpected tragedy destroy your family's future. Here at Jones Insurance, 7603 West Bank Expressway, Monroe, Louisiana, 772. Contact Lois at 504-348-1492.
Hi, I'm Remus Bowman. I'd like to invite you to join me every Monday at 12 o'clock. We're going to provide information for you that's going to give you the opportunity to feel confident in whatever it is that you need. When you have a good credit score, you can get whatever you want at a low price, low interest rates, and that's the way it is. That's You and Your Credit on Mondays at 12 o'clock. I'll see you then. We're back. Hi. This is You and Your Credit on the New Orleans Talk Network. I'm your host, Remus Bowman. There is something that I wanted to discuss with you. Recently, the administration has relaxed a lot of the rules regarding collection agencies. And so people are getting phone calls and emails and, all day long from collection agencies, and a lot of times these collection agencies are dealing with accounts that are over 7 years old. So if a collection agency calls you about an aged account, how are you going to communicate with that agency? Are you just going to make arrangements to make payments? Do you know what the statute of limitation is in your state or in your, in with regards to this this particular debt? And why is the statute of limitation relevant to a debt? It's the same thing as having information on your credit report, and most people will tell you that information stays on your credit report for up to 7 years. Well, in actuality, yes, it does. It does stay for up to 7 years, but sometimes it stays a little longer. And what happens is a lot of times people will call you because what they do is they go into these banks or lending institutions and they buy debt, and they buy the debt at pennies on a dollar. There's sometimes when they might buy a debt for less than $100. So if a credit bureau, a collection agency makes a deal with the bank to buy your debt, and then it's an old debt, and they calling you, more than likely anything that they collect on this debt is is profit for them, because the banks have already written the loss off on their taxes, so they've gotten satisfactory satisfied from the feds on the taxes on those debts. Now the collection agency is calling you because it's an opportunity to get some gravy, and get something extra. But because you don't have an idea of what's on your credit report or how long it's been there or whether or not you need to pay it, you a lot of times we do things and we get taken advantage of, and sometimes we even by volunteering information or accepting responsibility for something that may have been aged out, you're renewing the debt. So, a lot of times we fall victim to our best intentions, to our own good intentions, because what it is that we're trying to do is we have a tendency to want to be good people, but being a good person and doing good things and being smart is, it's all a part of the same thing. But in reality, let's see, if you pay off a debt that you don't actually owe anymore, if the bank has already written off the debt as uncollectible, and so they're in a satisfactory position, and now you've got a business who have bought this information from your debtor. Now the debtor's satisfied, so it's their business to collect it, whether the debt is satisfied or not, whether the statute of limitation is expired or not. It's an opportunity to collect money. So if you're going to pay this debt, and it's something that even you probably are going to be able to get removed off your credit report and move on with your life. If you pay it, so now you've thrown away money that you shouldn't have paid, that you didn't have to pay. And a lot of times, I have people that are trying to buy homes or mortgages or refinance and that kind of thing, and then all of a sudden, credit, an old debt will show up on your credit report. And that's, again, as I said earlier, the laws are changing. Every time administration takes over the government, they make different rules. Obama put a lot of rules in effect that would help people to not being taken advantage of. Trump puts a lot of rules into effect that gives businesses an opportunity to take advantage of you. Is that kind of crazy? So why would we elect a guy who's going to take a stick and beat us over the head with it, as we just did 2 years ago? I'm sure a lot of people would like to think about that. Think about it. You're getting a phone call, and I did too. I got a phone call maybe a year ago when I was in Atlanta. Something happened. I may have slipped and fell, or I don't remember exactly what the situation was, but an ambulance brought me to a hospital. And this was in 2005. And so I got a phone call, and I want to say it was in 15 or 16. It was at least 10, maybe 11 years after this happened. And, this collection agency called me, and the guy says, well, in the first place, all my medical's covered because I am a vet. So, first of all, I'm not trying to give you bad information or give you an idea to do something that may or may not make sense, or that that's going to make sense to you, and that you're not going to be able to take advantage of. So what happened is, I got this collection agency that called me, and the guy says, well, you have a debt, I think it was for like $185 to the ambulance service of Atlanta. Now, you got to realize, again, this occurrence happened in 2005 or 2006, which means that this is 10 years or 10 years plus over. This guy, these people actually didn't do any research. They didn't know who they were talking to. So I'll be honest with you. When I got the phone call and the person was telling me about this situation, about this debt, I immediately broke out laughing. I was like, man, you must be nuts. Are you serious? You calling me about a debt that's over 10 years old? Makes no sense for me to pay that debt. I never do it. I would never even entertain it. So if you're going to do that, so you got some money you want to throw away, I can think of a few charities that could actually use a few dollars, so throw it away to somewhere where they're helping the community, not just being taken advantage of. There's a lot of different con jobs, a lot of different languages that are being used today that make you feel that you have to pay this. But if you stay strong and you get the information you need, then you'll know better and you won't be taken advantage of. But if you bury your head in sand, ignore all the information that's available, I just want to share this with you. If you go to youandyourcredit.us, we even have the information you need concerning the laws that regard debt. Did you know that all debt comes under the Federal Trade Commission? And this is information that I'm providing on the website. I had a customer who stopped me. I was walking my pets the other day. She said, "Mr. Remus, I got a copy of your website," and I thought it was very interesting. But it was kind of interesting that she only saw the first page of the website. On the website, there's a products page. There's also information on improving your credit, telling you what the laws are and who regulates credit. I would think if you're gonna decide that you might want to pay this bill, you might want to know why you're being asked to pay a debt that may or may not be necessary for you to pay. Why would you want to do that? Why throw your money away when it's not regarded? It's like going back and paying a debt from 20 years ago or 30 years ago. Or how about paying a debt from when you were a child? Now, there's only a few debts that you can't avoid paying. And one of those debts is child support. And the other one is federal taxes. And there's even limitations on taxes where you'll see tax information being removed after about 10 years if the department decides that it's an uncollectible debt, or because of your health and your inability to pay, that it's not in the best interest to pursue it. But in a lot of cases, and you'll see that information being available to come off. I've got a deal for you. This is my offer. If you go to youandyourcredit.us and pull up a copy of your credit report. Now, it's very easy. As soon as you open the file, it says free credit report. If you'll go to that screen and press the red button and order your copy of your credit report, and immediately after you fill out that information, I need you to fill out this form that's on the screen. That form And what happens with that form is it immediately sends me an email. And that email is going to, says, well, the form says, fill out this form for a free consultation. Now, here's what I'm going to share with you. If you're talking to me on the phone and we're both looking at your credit report, I can do your credit restoration while you're on the phone. And at the same time, I'll send you your letters free. I'll email them to you. So you would have pulled up your credit report, gotten your letters sent directly to you, and you haven't spent $1. This is an opportunity to get something and get on the road to a good credit score without paying anything, and then you'll have an opportunity to decide whether or not you feel it's worth it for you. If it's in your best interest to go on with the program after 7 days, because 7 days the situation changes. It's time for our last break. This is You and Your Credit on the New Orleans Talk Network. We'll be right back.
Listen up. Your customers, our listeners, could be hearing about your business right now. Yeah, right now. Don't miss out on the opportunity to advertise with NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. Call our business department today at 504-475-4793 to hear about our great rates. NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. We provide the people, you provide the business.
Well, what's up, everybody? This is boy Coach Hurricane here. You can follow me on Facebook at Henry Singleton or on Twitter at HenryHayoU15.
Listen, this is your boy Fred. Listen, you can follow me on Facebook at Brandon Fred Jones, or you can follow me on Twitter at BFredJones.
This is Jeremiah Gray, man, with G Sports. You can follow me on Facebook, Jeremiah Gray, AKG, and on Twitter, G_paid-in-full-08.
Pay me the money! money.
This is Charles Stewart.
And the Reverend Dr. Anthony Williams.
We are Church Without Walls.
And we are here today to give you information that you don't normally get at church.
We come your way every Monday morning, 11 to 12.
Call in with your comment or your questions, and we'll be glad to try and answer them for you. If we don't have the answer today, we will get it to you on a message.
Don't you dare miss it.
We're back. I hope you have enjoyed the show. We try to provide information that can help you change your life, your financial life. But you've got to take the step, man. You've got to do it. If you don't have a copy of your credit report, then how do you know what's on it? How do you know if it's dated? How do you know if the information can come off? Now, here's what I'm going to share with you. If you go on the website and you send the info, you do everything that I'm asking you to do, fill out for the credit report, and then fill out the information immediately below. And you happen to be speaking with me, and I have time to do your credit repair at the same time. I will email you the information that you need to send to the credit bureaus at the same time. So, think about it. You walked into a car dealership, or you walked into a leasing office, or you apply for a credit card. And before when you walked out, you were advised that you had some problems with your credit score, and you needed to improve your score. But what happens is most of its information stays active about 30 days with these creditors. But let's do this. Let's do this before we even walk into a car dealership or walk into a leasing office. Before we even take the opportunity to do that, and we know before we walk in that we're wasting our time, or that we might get lucky and get a car and, or get an apartment, and, depending on the circumstance, you might be able to get it done. But if it's based on interest rates, your price that you're going to be paying is going to be substantially higher because you're paying interest, and interest is based on your ability to get credit. This is not brain surgery, man. This is so common, so easy. What I'm saying to you is, we can probably move the information off in some cases in less than in about 30 to 4 to 6 weeks, and we could send you the information in an email. And when we send you the information in an email, you can download the information and print it and send it. And the address for the credit bureaus is going to be on the dispute letters. And you can go out directly from your conversation with me, print this information, and send it directly to the credit bureaus. Now, I mean, in the interest of time, you might want to send it overnight or registered mail. And that way, if you send it quickly, then you'll have the faster you send it, the quicker you'll get the response, the quicker, and they will email you. The credit bureaus do, email us a lot, and they email, and they also send things in the mail, send responses in the mail in the form of updated credit reports. And, so 4 to 6 weeks, you'll have your updated credit report, and you can monitor it yourself by staying in the program. And I would advise that, because if you stay in the program, when it's, 30 days from the date that you got in, you'll be able to go in and pull up a new credit report, and you'll know if your credit score has increased. And I'll tell you what, I'll make you a deal. If you go in the credit repair program with you and your credit, and we're not able to raise your score, I'll give you a money back guarantee. I don't know if you can beat that. Money back guarantee. So if we can't substantiate that your score is improved, or was improved as a result of your being associated with this program, I will happily refund your money. Can you do any better than that? Is there anything better than that? Money back guarantee for those people who take advantage of this offer. And, all you would have wasted is some time. And we really don't have time to waste. We have a number of clients we've established this. I've been doing credit repair for the last 5 years. So it's not as if we haven't been doing this. It's not as if we don't know what to do. I looked at some of the letters that the other company that I was referring people to, and man, there's so many different forms that can be used to remove information. But because you're not a part of the industry, you got different companies that are using all this basic stuff. Basic stuff might get the information off the first month, but is it coming right back? Is it going to do a boomerang? But if you use a legitimate course of action, if you use a legitimate course of action, and take the laws, use the laws, and that's what we do. We ask for different forms back from the creditor that's validating the debt. There's so many forms. There's 140 different reasons that I have that can, justify your trying this program. That we can include on your credit restoration letters and make sure that when the information is removed, it's gone. As my good friend Mr. Charles Stewart says, when you're dead, you're dead. And once it's gone, and if it's gone through a legal process, it's not coming back. But, how do you know what's a legal process? How do you know if you're asking the lender to do something that you have a legal precedent to ask for? Do you know what the rules are? Go to youandyourcredit.us. Youandyourcredit.us. Free. I like that commercial. Have you seen it? Free. If you go to youandyourcredit.us, press the button that says free, get a copy of your free credit report, email me the information that I need in order to view that information along with you, and we will let you know what you need to do to improve your credit. In fact, if you decide to, we'll email you the information on the spot that you need right then and there to download and print and send to the credit bureaus. We also can send the information to you in the mail, and so you'll be able to, make copies of it, or you'll be able to make copies of the information. Now, we also give you a portal. You'll have a portal on the credit repair site. It'll be your personal portal, which is going to tell you the information that's on your credit report. It's also going to tell you the information that we're disputing, and it's going to tell you what your new credit scores are. So I don't know if there's anything better than that. It's the best program I've looked at, and I was with the company for about 5 years, and they did, I thought, a good job. But we're gonna surpass that. We're gonna be the best. We're gonna be the GOAT, greatest of all time when it comes to removing things off your credit report. But it's up to you to start now. Today is the first day of the rest of your life. If you don't do it now, then what's going to change? I know you're going to buy a car. I know you want to buy a house. I talk to people all the time and say, man, I need my own house. I want to move into a more affluent apartment complex, to move into a nicer area. None of that happens unless you improve your credit scores. youandyourcredit.us. youandyourcredit.us. And if you don't have any information on your credit report, if you don't have any credit file, got zeros, get the credit improvement card. It's right there. $200, your money. Within 60 to 90 days, your credit scores are up. You can walk into a car dealership, buy a car at a low interest rate because you got good scores. Why would you not want to take advantage of the opportunity? I can't answer it. It's up to you. Hey, thanks. It's Monday. You and your credit on the New Orleans Talk Network. We're signing out. Have a great day.